the rest of your ghost life with all these people that hate you because, like, they're like, you fucking killed me, man.
Or, like, you know, it's like supposed to be karma, right? So, like, if you lived a really good, peaceful life, you're supposed to get all kinds of riches or whatever. So it could be you were, like, Genghis Khan's, like, best buddy, but since you were a scholar, you didn't kill people. And then when you go into the afterlife, now Genghis Khan is in hell, and you're like get all these riches.
So he's servicing you now?
Could be.
Whoa, trip out.
Pretty sick, but I'm scared of him. Yeah. Well, I guess you can't die anymore.
Yeah, I mean, so then nothing would matter.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, if you're both ghosts, he could probably still hurt you.
Do you think he had insurance on his horses?
I think he did. Yeah, because it's important because you gotta insure those bad boys. And speaking of insurance, we're sponsored by Gabby Insurance. You know, you're probably overpaying on car and home insurance. Sure, you'd love to save money, but is spending hours on your own shopping for a lower rate, maybe to save a few bucks, worth it? Probably not. But what I did, and I used Gabby, and Gabby does all the work for you in just a few minutes. And get this, Gabby customers save $961 per year on average. It's almost $1,000, guys.
Yep.
Gabby takes the pain out of shopping for insurance by giving you an apples-to-apples comparison of your current coverage with 40 of the top insurance providers like Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers. And that's really important because you want to keep the deductible the same. What they cover is the same, and that's what they do. The apples-to-apples, it's the exact same coverage, but they give you different prices from different providers. Just link your current insurance account, and in just minutes you'll be able to see quotes for the exact same coverage you currently have.
So I signed up for this, and I just want to give you some quotes I got, because y'all know that I recently got a new old classic car. It was a 1988 Toyota Land Cruiser. I love it, and I wanted to insure it. And so they gave me some quotes from different carriers. And they said Safeco was $89 a month or $1,065 a year. Progressive was $93, $94 for Allstate. Travelers was $97, and Nationwide was $120. And so, like, compared to the insurance that I was quoted by my company, I roughly save around $30-ish a month comparing to all these guys.
Well, that's like $300 a month, a year.
A year would be like almost 400. Yeah, $400. So if they're saving about $961 on average for a lot of people, it's pretty up there. I was quoted pretty good too, so it's pretty awesome because I think that you can't really find savings like that they did for me, you know. They'll let you know so you can relax knowing that you have the best rate out there, and they'll never sell your info, so no annoying spam or robocalls. I was pretty glad about that part because I get a lot of junk mail, and I don't want that stuff from nobody.
Yeah, so if you want to see if you're overpaying for a car or home insurance, see how much Gabby can save you. It's totally free to check, and there's no obligation, which is awesome. Go to Gabby.com/off-the-record. That's GABI.com/off-the-record. Gabby.com/off-the-record, and see how much money you can save.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All those ancient things, though, I've been watching a lot of YouTubers, and they're producing some good, like, History Channel things.
Really?
Yeah, it's so fun to watch. Like, I used to watch Crash Course and all that, but there's new channels I'm going on to, like Armchair Historian, Extra Credit, these, you know, there's just, like, channels now that are, like, getting more into specifics of, like, certain wars and whatever, and I'm like, man, it's so fun. It's like non-stop Game of Thrones, non-stop stories.
Yeah.
That's tight.
And it's animated, too. Like, yeah, they put a lot of, like, work into it.
It's crazy to think, so, like, we're obviously living through this time now that we know about specific details and we have the, like, articles about every single day something happening, right? But when you go like hundreds of years back, even like 100 years back, everything is generalized per year. Like, this event happened this year, this thing happened over like 20 years, and it's like there's no, like, we don't get to know unless we make like shows or have our fantasy about every single detail that goes into it and why those decisions were made. Because it's like, as a collective, that's what, like, say, like, they want to invade this country, but there's probably some internal beef that people didn't want to do. Like, you know how we have like our communities fighting each other on wanting to vote this person in, this person in, but we don't get to see that side of it.
Yeah, you see all the little drama. Like, you have to imagine what the little drama is.
Is people, like, 1,000 years from now can just watch what happened during this year, 2020.
That is crazy.
They can see like people vlogging about their experience. They can see like what happened every minute in different parts of the states, like or the world. That's what blows my mind. Is like
I think maybe that's what the Egyptians feel too, though, with their hieroglyphics. They're like, can you imagine? People could just come in these caves and see what we do, because they're comparing it to like the caveman days.
I know how they're like, dude, we're fucking legit, man.
Like, look at this shit, your shoulder, you're racing it.
What's crazy is, so if you look at just the evolution of like a human, so humans have been around, say, from when we evolved from primates for about 2 million years.
All right.
That's a shit ton of time.
Nothing
A
else.
recognizable human would be
2
around.
million? I thought it was like 40,000.
A recognizable human would be 200,000 years.
Are you talking about primates?
No, even before that. So people that were like walking on 2 feet,
It would have been a
maybe
party
hairier
with
and stuff like that. But say 200,000 years ago.
What? Is that 40,000?
I have to double check the facts. Everything I've read on was like from a long time ago, and this is the evolution, because evolution takes long as time. 40,000 years is quick.
Not on ancient aliens, though.
Yeah.
don't see many
So then 200,000 years ago, if you saw that, you'd be like, oh, that's a human, right?
I'm here for your
200,000 years ago
one.
is when we
Yes,
developed
take it.
vocal
But
cords
get out of my kitchen.
and speech and started making sounds, and that's what really started advancing society.
Ancient humans were ugly, dude.
And then, but in terms of from when we had humans, like actual, like able to communicate with each other, because we already had tools before that.
It wouldn't be a party with.
From 200,000 years ago, we only have 6,000 years of history that we know of. From 200,000 years of what could have been.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, we don't know any of those
That in itself is a
stories
remarkable
about the
feat.
monoliths.
You must have seen
Like all
me
those
doing my
ancient
impression of
abandoned
Stonehenge and shit.
Yeah, like all these buildings, you know, like no one knows. Or like when,
I am
I think it was the
called many
Mayans or the
things.
Aztec or
What
whatever,
do you call
when
yourself
the
then?
Spanish came, they're
Cassandra.
like, I don't know where these came
I
from.
won't take
Like
you
it
as
was
a
already here.
Cassandra.
So
But never mind. Go on.
Aliens.
Introduce yourself.
So people were saying like they
For a
were
playwright,
built by a
you have
different
not much for
tribe, like
words.
ancient
Good morning,
times,
quiet
and then
rise,
they
as
went
old
somewhere, and then when the
likes to
new
say.
tribes
When I
came
want
in,
to
they just
relax, I
occupied
start
it.
to fight. Quickly.
So that's
Bring in
crazy. I don't know that's fucking nuts, man. I want to know. I really want to know if somehow humans
You and
became
Aristophanies could
technologically
both use a
advanced,
drink.
and then like not like today's
wonderful
standards,
idea.
like with
Everything seems
electronics, but
quite
maybe in a different way.
Some wine, I would
Like they
be
figured
opposed
out
to
math
showing
and all
this
that
young
stuff.
one how we
And then like construction and whatever to a certain
Let's
point where they could
conjure
build this stuff,
shall we?
and then like a disaster happened or something happened where they had to like get away and restart again. Because it's very easy for humans to be cavemen if we didn't have all these things. Like imagine like if pretty much like it got wiped away, right? Can we teach the next generation? Hell no. Like even with the knowledge that we know, like we as in, us in the room, we can't teach them engineering. None of that. We just gotta survive.
Our shit was so technologically advanced that, like, let's say they
You
put
ready for another?
all of human knowledge in this hard drive, right? And it's right here, and then we have to reset, and I find it. I'm, all the knowledge is in here. I'm like, fuck on your computer to plug in to access. You know, when everything is so technologically advanced, it's so compartmentalized that you need like 5 things to make one thing work. It's just so hard.
I always like turning to comedy for making it more relatable. To like how crazy it is. So Joe Rogan said something. If you put me on an island with all the things I need to like build an iPhone or all these things, if you come back years later, he'll be still smashing rocks with his fish and like he wouldn't know how to do that. He was like, you need the smart people to do that. And then he was like, some other guy was like, imagine you took me back in time and I had to prove that I was from the future. And he was telling people, they'll be like, he was like, oh, like, in a few years, we're going to be able to communicate with someone across the world. And they're like, oh, cool, how? And he goes, well, I don't know, I just use my phone. They're like, oh, what's a phone? It's like, how does that work? It goes to a satellite. What's a satellite? And he goes, fuck. And then he's like, give me something easier. He goes, oh, so who's the next president? Fuck. It's only like 50 years ago, you know?
I got Wikipedia, I can tell you who the president is.
He wouldn't be able to like just prove that, you know? I don't think anyone knows.
In some ways, we're so fucking smart that we're so dumb now.
I mean, yeah, it's like we could drive a car, but can we build one from scratch?
Fuck no.
We can eat bread, but can we bake it from scratch.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even know what bread's made. It's bread material.
Bread just comes from Safeway.
yeah, I know, right? It's sliced. It's already sliced.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to like tell someone else from the future.
We can barely survive if like there was an apocalypse right now. Like grow your own food and like live on it. I think like
We're doing the necessary things that we can. We have guns, we can like go off road, we can camp, we can like cook our own
yeah, but we
food.
do those things for fun.
But nobody else does.
Well, I guess yeah. If we're comparing us to city slickers,
Yeah. We have a slight advantage.
Like, I know how to rob a Walmart and grab canned food out of there.
Well, I feel like most people will be like, yeah, that's not nice, you know?
that's survival, baby.
Apocalypse.
That's not no just rulers is a sparse and ruling a city
by practicing art of war. Doesn't the gent...
You just said the general isn't self-serving when he brings order to his troops. Then you said he is self-serving because retreating would save
I've been on it for 4 months.
I
I
never
lost
tried to
27
say it.
pounds.
You
And I feel
just
like I got
said
my
those.
I
life
said
back.
the
I've been
words,
on Noom
but
for
I...
4 months
wasting
and
your
I've
time.
lost 16 pounds.
I'm down 10 kilos in 4 months. It turns out I can do this.
I definitely feel that my brain has been rewired with the help of Noom.
I'm much more mindful about why I'm eating and what I'm eating.
Every other diet, it just says to you, you can eat this, you can eat that. You can't eat this, you can't eat that. And that's it.
You change up here, everything will fall into place.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new on my channel, hi and welcome. My name is Mad Girl, and without a crystal ball, just can't seem to stop talking. And I just don't get the point of it all. Last night I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw this tweet from Tati's lawyer, Michael Souls, and he said, just was informed that KJ and her husband stated in a live video tonight that it is wrong to report on the contents of public records without contacting the other side to verify the accuracy of the public records. If this is true, please let us know if anyone has this video. And of course, this person replied saying, ask and you shall receive, and they attached this clip of the live stream. Emily Baker replied to that person and said, wait, doesn't KJ claim she does all her research? Did she ever reach out to Tati once? Obviously rhetorical. Then when Tati reached out with 4 cease and desist, she ignored them. So when did reaching out to the other side become important? This other person said, even without a crystal ball, it's clear to see KJ and her husband seem to acknowledge her behavior against James Westbrook was extremely problematic. Here's almost the entire segment with the live chat and timestamps, sped up a little to fit the 10-minute limit. And then this person attached this segment very graciously. Thank you to this person. And I found this particular reply interesting. The person said, there are so many damning statements in that stream. Enjoy. I'm just going to play that segment and react as we go along.
It seems we have the attention of the entire room without a single eye being fixed on us.
And I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I'm going to kind of refer to something that's
I'm searching
personal
for
to
a
me.
woman who fled Sparta with her child years ago. I was hoping you might help.
They come up with some sort of
What clues do
narrative
you
that they
have to her
think
whereabouts?
is,
A physician named
you know, what they think it
Hippocrates
is.
may have
Yeah,
seen her in Argos.
and
He's a good man. If you find a woman
they
named
just
Agatha there,
they do
do
a
not
hack
have
job
no
in terms
Aspasia
of
sends her
their
regard.
research.
What else?
And
Alcibiades
just run
gave
with
me
it,
the name
and
of a
then
woman
go
in
and
Corinth.
post some
I'm
crap
sure
on
he did.
social media.
My dear friend Anthissa
And
is the only one I know who's
this-
enjoyed a life in Corinth
This
through
thing that they're
legitimate
posting, or
means.
this thing that they're talking about, that they
Mostly
think, they
legitimate
think that they know the absolute truth about
That's all I have.
somebody, and what
There is
a person
another
may be all
option.
about.
In a former life, when I needed something done or
It could
someone
be very
found,
detrimental
I
to that
contacted a
person's number
friend,
one safety,
an
and
adult
number
person.
two, that
What's his
person's
name?
ability to
Her
maybe find
name is
employment.
Xenia. When we
And,
last spoke,
and then,
she was
and then this person's
a word of
so-called
caution. When you go to
following
her, be on your
just
guard.
gloms onto the idea
See,
and
like
posts
Vixen,
comments on
thank you,
said
Cecil.
post
When you're
about,
done,
well, that
return
was
here.
very well researched.
Together, we'll be fine.
Really,
Now
a
do
very
me a favor and
well-researched-
get Pericles to come down here and greet his
I'm
guests.
just saying, a very well-researched video would entail, if you're trying to push some sort of narrative about somebody, if you did your research, you would reach out to said somebody
Right.
and ask them to comment on whatever it is you are trying to purport
Right.
about
So this is
somebody.
always something that I struggle with. Is we have access to people on this platform, so when we report on them, theoretically, we can actually reach out to them and get a comment from them for their perspective. Now, whether or not that person
Cassandra.
is to want to know why.
I didn't send for you.
And in a
No
year
matter
that
how you
tested
dressed for
everyone
my
around the
party,
world,
Phoebe shouldn't have
why
let
was
you in.
searched more than ever.
Aspasia told me to come find you. She wants you to come down to the party.
And what we
She
didn't
says I
find
don't
all the
interact
answers,
with our guests
we
enough.
kept asking.
But these parties aren't
Some
for
questions
me.
inspired joy,
Technically, you're a guest.
others
If you
excited.
join Herodotus and me, that should be enough for her, don't you think?
You really don't want to go downstairs, do you?
When your days are spent speaking in front of crowds, you begin to crave
That's
these
fine.
moments of silence.
Yeah.
Or as silent as I let it
Yeah,
be.
I mean, I don't. I hate to use generalizations and not get specific due to due to your audience.
Your life
But
is
I
in
think you know
danger.
very well what I'm speaking about.
Yes,
I know exactly.
And
Herodotus was
whether
saying.
this is obviously your
This
channel, I would
cult
never.
doesn't worry me.
I would never
I
tell
have
you
my
how to
life
run your
threatened by
channel or
far
what,
worse
what you should say, but
A lot of misconceptions about your music and like what your beliefs are that are
Parties
very
outside the
unjustified,
walls,
unfair,
people
not
crammed
true.
inside.
Her husband's
I
name
don't envy you.
is
Even so,
James
there isn't
Westbrook,
another
and
city
he has
I'd
got
rather live
a
in.
rap sheet.
I can't say
Like, you
I
wouldn't
know
want
how that feels.
When you find your place, you know.
Aspasia sent me to see what's
Yes.
taking you so long.
Tell Aspasia I
No.
suppose this is where our conversation ends. Thank you again for helping me. I hope my guests are able to help
What?
you in your search.
Time will tell.
Okay. 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 Bye. Bye.
want to believe.
And I think people are spreading really hateful misinformation about it. So yes, I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I for the most part, I mean, I know what's the truth, and I know I'm not these horrible things that these people are trying to say that I am or that I stand for.
Yeah.
But my bigger point is, and I'm not even saying this, I mean, yes, it could possibly affect me, but when people do this kind of stuff, they don't think about the fact that it could have a ripple effect.
Right.
And I'm speaking about
I've
other
had
people
enough
that
of
do
thinking
this too.
hospitality to last me a
And
lifetime.
there's employers that when they go through the interview process, when they're looking to maybe hire somebody,
There's
they
a
will
woman on the
scour the
island of
internet.
chaos that I need to meet.
They will type the person's name into the internet,
I'll be sure to
and
be
whatever
careful.
comes up. I'm not on here to try to necessarily defend myself or try to change somebody's mind. I mean, most of the people that are putting this garbage out there, there's no changing their mind anyway.
Right.
You could literally, I don't know, you could show them all the proof. What was that thing that I told you I made up the other day? You can lead a troll to evidence, but you can't make them think.
This isn't Kefalonia. That means you'll be back.
Right.
That's very true.
The greater point is
I
that
really like working for Aspasia.
they need to
She
think
says she
about
has
what
a
they're doing
mission
and
for
what they're
me.
saying
I'll see you soon,
before they just run with crap that could literally destroy somebody's life.
Really?
Yeah, like somebody said that I said the N-word, and I'm like, I've never said that. Like, you'll never find me ever saying that.
Right.
You have been with me for 12 years. Have you ever heard me even utter that word? Never.
No, we don't use
It doesn't
say that word, right?
our vocabulary.
Right.
It's just unfortunate, and people literally now are in my DMs admitting to me, I'm only saying these things about you because it makes me money.
Well, I hope they can sleep at night. Seriously, how do you feel about yourself? How do you live with yourself?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
Knowing that you're putting stuff out there about somebody that you've never met in your life, and you're dragging this person's name through the mud. Remember, people, the internet is forever.
Well, they'll say it's fair game for me, but I don't think it's fair game for you because you're not a public figure. I am, and also.
At 1-800-CONTACTS, we're here for people like Dwayne. With our best price guarantee, he can spend time looking at better things than prices for contacts. Order now and save 20% on your first purchase. And don't forget to use your Flex Spending account or vision insurance benefits before they expire.
When your day is too post-worthy. To
bother posting. Irish Spring body wash.
But what I'm trying to say is that, like, so essentially they're just gonna go for the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
You can, like, if you want to monetize your, if you want to have a YouTube channel and monetize it, that's, hey, it's this is America. We're a capitalist society. Go ahead, go for it. Make all the money you want. But to do it in such a horse crap way, it's whatever. I don't know.
I understand.
But the other stuff, those are horrible accusations. That again,
they have real life consequences. I mean, yes, at our house.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody could watch one of those videos that makes that statement, and I'm not saying I'm scared. I mean, I'm not scared to go outside or whatever. But what I'm saying is that when people do this kind of stuff, they don't know and they don't understand that there's people who watch them and follow them that could take it super seriously and maybe want to take it into their own hands or whatever. I mean, just be careful what you say, people. Unless you have concrete proof and concrete evidence that proves what you are trying to say about somebody's character or maybe what they've done in their past or what they may have done in their past, don't just run to your computer and blast it out on YouTube. Unless you have concrete proof and concrete evidence that proves what you are trying to say about somebody's character or maybe what they've done in their past or what they may have done in their past, don't just run to your computer and blast it out on YouTube.
Boom, and there we go.
Because it's easy to just say stuff and shut your computer off and go to bed at night and then wake up the next morning and look at your stats and see, how much AdSense you made. But there's another person on the other end of that you could be affecting, like, very horribly affecting somebody's life, and you may not even realize it. You might not even have any sort of malicious intent, but because you're not thinking about what you're doing and what you're saying, how would you feel if something really bad happened to somebody because something you said that wasn't true?
I know. And this climate is really just to make very leveled accusations about a lot of different topics, and that's why I think it's highly inappropriate for channels as a whole to levy accusations of a lot of different topics.
You're really giving this some thought, huh? Yeah, I have to win this battle. Okay, well, maybe I can help.
Okay.
Another thing that happened was that this person left a comment and they tagged Michael Stoll saying if she deletes that, surely that's against the motion to delete evidence. And they attached a screenshot of their comment that they left under Without a Crystal Ball's video. The person said, Katie, do you realize you led people to believe James Westbrook cut short his mother's life for inheritance? I don't know if your husband has read the lawsuit. He seems like a good guy, but it does seem really hypocritical, you discussing that as if you didn't do that. I don't agree with the things being spread about your family. However, you did spread things about the Westbrooks, which was really disgusting and extremely defamatory. I'm sure this has taught you a lesson, but remember you did the things you're complaining about others doing to you. Please self-reflect. I don't want to kick you when you're down, but it's true, Katie. I hope you learn from this and don't do that in the future. One of your loyal followers, Lori Ann, has also people and their family, and someone from your chat has me and my mother. It's horrible, and I know it's not you, but you should reconsider who you publicly support and say you appreciate when they're doing the things you're apparently so against. And Tati's lawyer replied to that person saying, was it deleted? And the person replied with, I just posted this, I'll keep a lookout, so she probably will. Another person came on and said, it's not there, she either deleted it or hid it. Was a great post though. And then the person replied to that person and said, thank you. Well, I don't know for sure if Without a Crystal Ball actually deleted that comment, because I feel like at this point she should have blocked certain words. I'm pretty sure anything that has Tati, Westbrook, anything about the case, those words are pretty much blocked, I'm guessing. So it's possible that's what's happening here. It's possible they got deleted. I mean, I don't know if they got deleted, but I'm just saying that I can't say for sure just because this person is not saying it. Another person left another comment and said, but you did the same thing to Tati's husband. He is a criminal. He took his mom off oxygen so he could get all his mom's money. How can you not see your own hypocrisy? I think this person sums it up, but then again, this is what we already know about without a crystal ball. She never sees a problem with it when she does it. She screams about it from the rooftops when other people do it to her. And it's really just interesting to me. Let me know what you think about Without a Crystal Ball's latest live stream and Tati's lawyer actually being interested in it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, like and share with your friends. Subscribe to support my channel and stay up to date with the latest drama. Shout out to my amazing patrons. You guys are awesome. I appreciate your support more than I can ever say, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.
Your teacher's talking about this comment.
Now, when it comes to ratio, this is one of the best examples I've ever seen. 2,095 upvotes versus 258,343 downvotes in counting. And when you combine that with the fact that a certain petition has reached, get this, 1,774,878 signatures and counting, you notice it's aiming at 3 million right here. What that says about a person is that despite anything that they've won, they really lost big time. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So, folks, by the way, I hope you had a Merry Christmas, and I hope 2021 is something to look forward to, because I have this feeling it's just going to be fun. So today, you and I, by the way, we are observing this wonderful, wonderful world of ratio, and I think you're going to enjoy this one today, too. Now, remembering those numbers that we just reviewed, because we're going to go back to those in just a minute, an interesting thing is transpiring when you come to the media. If you listen to the media, you would think that this person is in high demand. In fact, look at this portion of the headline. If you'd like to hire her to speak at your event, she can be booked for the princely sum of $33,000. In fact, the agency that is repping her, we're talking about the Harry Walker agency, just to note that, the same one that is repping Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, says, quote, the agency describes her as, quote unquote, deeply moving, and says that hiring her is an excellent choice for a group or organization that's looking for, quote unquote, some much needed inspiration from a woman who walks day to day looking to be a contribution. Yeah, contribution indeed. Now, what astounds me is the way that the Harry Walker agency describes this person, because you would think if all of these things were true, well, you would think that those numbers we're going to talk about in just a moment, they would actually link up with this description. So let's read this description. You're going to see the bullet points in front of you, but I'm just going to read over this. I'm going to go through it as fast as I can. So renowned for roles in films such as The Danish Girl, Her Smell, Aquaman, and Justice League, this person continues to build a successful career in Hollywood while simultaneously using that platform as a public figure to amplify her role as a humanitarian and to bring awareness to human rights issues. She is most passionate about including the alphabet rights, that's how I have to say this here, apologies for that, and fighting for the political, social, and economic aid and rights of refugees and migrants. She frequently visits locations around the world to fight on behalf of marginalized communities, from Syrian refugees, indigenous groups in Central America, to migrants at the U.S. border. You know, a.k.a. going on vacation. I guess that's out there fighting. She is most passionate about, indeed. An outspoken advocate for women's rights and the civil rights of survivors of all gender-based being around the world, this person works with organizations that encourage survivors to both personally and politically to come forward and reclaim their power. This person makes frequent trips to D.C. to lobby and fight on behalf of the civil rights of women and the innumerable silent survivors of gender-based abuse. This person is a women's rights ambassador at the ACLU and was the first American actress to be named Human Rights Champion of the UN Human Rights Office. Like, I swear. An eloquent and passionate speaker. This person has lent their voice to major global events like the UN Social Good Summit, Global Citizen Festival, One Young World Conference, and the incredible Women Gala. Now, when you read through all of that stuff, it makes this sound like this person is in demand. This person is worth all of that. You would think with that kind of accolade, that kind of credential, that this person, they would be beloved. Now, an interesting thing happens with Access Hollywood that points out something about all of those words. It's the fact that they're just words. See, Access Hollywood, they have their own YouTube channel. You can see that in front of you here. They have over 1 million subscribers, and interestingly enough, that doesn't amount to that many views typically. If you look at that first one here, for example, 5 hours, 6.2K views. Second one, 10 hours, 18K views. 1 day, 25K views. 1 day, 65K views. 3 days, 7.8K views. I mean, it goes on and on and on like that. See, low turnout for subjects like this, it's pretty typical until you get to certain topics. And you'll notice those in the middle here. Notice those numbers. You have 2.4K. That's normal. Then you jump up to 1.5 million views. Then we go back to 10, 44, 10. 1.5 million views. Sounds like somebody's beloved, right? In fact, if you look at the views alone, the reality of that is much, much higher. You're talking about 1,511,191 views. That's since December 14th. So we're only talking about a few short weeks. And yeah, if you look at the comments here as well, people, they seem invested in this topic. You have 90,700 and counting comments. Again, quite a few there. Then when you start looking at other things, though, you start noticing the cracks in this facade. The numbers for upvotes versus downvotes. Now, the actual numbers for this are 2,145 upvotes sitting right now versus, look at this, downvotes, 269,236 down. The reason that this is, it's not just because of the interview either. The reason is because of the way the interview comes across. Now, the words that you see on the screen in front of you, they're from the description of this, and they say this is exactly what you would expect. There's absurdity in it. I'm going to read that over. We'll talk about the absurdity in just a second. But yes, this is 1 minute and 36 seconds of quote-unquote interview. 12 seconds of outro, probably 30 seconds of actual interview, and the rest is running somewhere through the mud. But this is what it says here. This person is reflecting on the lessons of 2020. I wish they would have said, by the way, my lesson here is I can get away with absolutely anything. You know, you just got to know the right people. And, well, I knew all the right people, but of course they didn't say that. When asked what she learned while navigating this difficult year, I'm sure, dude, difficult for you. How would it have been for another person, by the way? The actress said, adapt and survive. Adapt and survive. The better you are in making changes internally, the better you have a chance of actually not just thriving, but surviving. That doesn't make sense, by the way, because surviving is the baseline. It is the bare minimum you can do. If you step up from that, you're thriving. So really, it should have read, the better chance you have of actually not just surviving, but thriving. That would have made sense, but hey, what do I know? I don't make $33,000 for a speech, right? It is interesting, too, like I was saying, looking at the reality the media is trying to spin here. Like I said, I just read you that, versus the reality that normal folks like you, I, and apparently millions of other people actually see. Again, you might have 1.5 million views, you might have that many comments, but what you wouldn't have if people were actually agreeing is an up-down ratio where somebody gets ratio to the point of, yeah, look at that. It's not the worst that I've ever seen, but it is one of the worst that I've ever seen. Now, to put that number into perspective, think about it in terms of population. Here's the 50th largest city in the United States, with New Orleans, Louisiana, at 396,766 people. Again, putting that number into perspective, it would be like over 2/3 of New Orleans popped up suddenly, said, yeah, I'm going to vote on this video. I mean, that's a lot of people saying, yeah, I don't buy into that. I don't buy into that. at all. Now, those numbers, as impressive as they are, they don't amount to anything compared to a certain Change.org petition asking to have a certain person removed from Aquaman 2. That it tells you exactly how people feel about this. But of course, all of these things here, they're not real people, right? I mean, that's what Warner Brothers said. That's what this person said. 1,774,878 people are counting. You folks, you don't matter. I mean, really indeed. Now, to put those numbers into perspective, since we put the last ones into perspective, this would be like the 5th largest city in the United States going out and saying that they wanted to sign on to something, plus adding in a few towns to boot. See, the 5th largest city in the United States is Phoenix, Arizona. The population there is 1,711,356 people. So, all of those people, plus a few towns connected to it, they would have to go in, they would have to sign on to something. But again, all of that stuff doesn't matter. The media, they're telling you, this person, they're worth $33,000 per interview. And maybe if you think that just views, just having people click onto something, that matters, maybe that does work out for you. But the reality that you're trying to sell with that, the reality that everybody loves that person, yeah, I'm not seeing that. And I'm sure you're not seeing that as well. But let me know in the comments what you think about this ratio. What does it mean to you? And do you think that it's going to make any impact on movies going forward? Do you think that the things that this person is attached to, do you think they'll be hindered by it? Do you think it'll be status quo, business as usual? Like I said, let me know what you think. Also, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. You make this stuff possible. These places, they forgot about it. You can tell by the way they flagrantly ignore stuff like this they have. So yeah, remember that too. If you'd like to go forward, you'd like to go up beyond that, help out the channel, there are links in the description. We have Patreon, PayPal, memberships, merchandise, of course our comic book, which closes in 2 weeks now. So check that out before it closes and starts getting printed and being shipped. But yeah, you being here, it matters, so thank you. I appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.
Same fate as you.
Spartans like the most face.
Stay. I'll kill the Spartans, destroy their ships, and free your crew.
I needed to overcome emotional eating and stress eating. I started using it, and so far I've lost 30 pounds.
Uses psychology to make weight loss easier. Take the quiz to get your custom plan. No restricted dieting, no impossible workout plan. Just 10 minutes.
I work out every day for a year. Just I lost 14 pounds. Okay, you don't just lose weight, you keep the weight off.
I will be ready should they return.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and quick reminder, I'll be streaming over on my live stream channel, Quartercast. Link will be in the pinned comment down below. Now, we're entering the second week for Wonder Woman 1984, and reviews are not great. Now, most people are finding the movie just fine. You understand that, you know, if you already had HBO Max and you didn't pay any money to see this film, it's probably difficult to say it's awful. If you had, you know, obtained it some other way, it's probably wrong. And then there are people that genuinely like it. In my opinion, it was a very clear step back from the first. I thought Patty Jenkins did a terrible job. Knowing what to cut, what to keep. I want my movies to be light 90 minutes. I'm sick of these like 3-hour, you know, slogs, windy roads because you can't decide what kind of movie they actually want to make. And some of the early reviews, of course, were not great. Wonder Woman was hot garbage. Wonder Woman 1984 review. Too rushed, too gimmicky, directionless, and Pedro Pascal and Christian Bale were insane. Third act of good. Just saw Wonder Woman 84. Downgrade from the original. Corny story premise. Tread forced dialogue. Invisible jet from a coffee cup trick. Bad overused CG fights. Usage of slow-mo and an ending that was supposed to be heartfelt, talking humanity's wants and desires that just played out flat.
We need USAA insurance for veterans like Mark. When a hailstorm hit, we need this insurance to be done right. Right away. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
The most human trait is to want to know why. And in a year that tested everyone around the world, why was searched more than ever.
Coronavirus has posed significant lives.
And what we didn't find all the answers, we kept asking. Some questions inspired joy. Others excitement.
Here we go. I thought Wonder Woman 84 was the worst DCEU film since Justice League. Cannot believe the massive departure from the first. It was truly shocking at how different they both are, in a bad way. The story was a mess and the script completely falls apart. Like, wow. How about last one here? Wonder Woman 1984 was a big waste of time. Mediocre movie, generic plot, bad script, misuse of characters, not even a single memorable action sequence. Absolutely disappointing. Wonder Woman 1984. How's it faring in other markets, you might ask? Well, China box office, Wonder Woman 1984 drops 92% in its second weekend. Now, it's not uncommon to see a large drop in films from one week to another. 92%, that is an indicator that you have a bad film. Hong Kong action movie Shockwave 2 opened to 65 million, while Pixar's Soul received limited screens and opened just to 5 million. But the film is generating rave word of mouth and could climb somewhat over the next week. Hollywood tentpoles, however, fared far less well. Warner Brothers' Wonder Woman 1984 was effectively snuffed out, adding just 1.5 million in its second weekend, a 92% decline from its disappointing $18 million opening. According to data from Artisan Gateway, the superhero tentpole, which cost $200 million to make, has totaled just $23.9 million and is expected to earn only a little more. The Wonder Woman first Wonder Woman film won at $90 million in China. Now, these are never tongues, all right? I think that you can't really compare Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman box office numbers to the second. That's just not fair. It might make for spicy headlines, but ultimately, what Hollywood wants you to know is that it's stunning and brave to risk your life to see Wonder Woman, but you're literally killing grandma if you do anything else. Who braved seeing Wonder Woman 1984 in theaters amid the lockdowns? The superhero sequel debuted to $16.7 million domestically at the Christmas box office, and it's the best showing since the lockdowns began, despite continued cinema closures in major markets. Usually, Hollywood studios don't tout Christmas grosses for Honolulu theaters in a major way. This year, as with all things during the lockdowns, that wasn't the case. The Victoria Ward Stadium in Oahu's capital city was the #2 grossing theater for Wonder Woman 1984, and it opened to an estimated $16.7 million domestically over 2,000 theaters. While the superhero sequel reteams director-writer now, Patty Jenkins, and star Gal Gadot, who went along with Warner Brothers' plan to announce Sunday that development of a third film is being fast-tracked, although it could be years away because of Jenkins' other commitments, namely a Star Wars movie set for the release at the end of 2023. I can't wait for that disaster. Jenkins and Gadot also have Cleopatra in development at Paramount. The #1 grossing theater for Wonder Woman 1984 was a district megaplex in Salt Lake City, Utah. Florida and Texas have been a haven for indoor cinemas in recent months, as the country's top 10 major movie-going markets remain off limits. I just think it's funny. I think it's funny that you braved it. But coming from the very same people that you're literally ending grandma's life if you go to church. Going to the movies is okay. Church, that's where you get sick. You don't get sick at the movies. In terms of demos, it's skewed slightly female, 52% on Friday and Saturday, but ended up 20% by the end of the week. According to PostTrack, nearly 60% of ticket buyers were over the age of 25, including 36% over the age of 35. Audience didn't like the sequel as much as the first, with an B+ cinema score versus an A. That's not much of a drawback. And again, another perfect example of this narrative of the media. This baloney narrative the media has that men don't like strong female superheroes. There's little doubt. I mean, there's like literally no doubt that Gal Gadot is the star of this film, that Wonder Woman is the star of this film, that the major villain of this film is a woman. And still men showed up to see it. So every time that these lazy hacks in Hollywood keep saying that men don't like, men have a problem with female superheroes, it's not that. We have a problem with terrible movies just like women do. Global. A DC superhero sequel. The DC superhero sequel has now earned $85 million at the box office, including a foreign tally of $68 million. As in the U.S., there are a number of theater closures across Europe and regions. That's crazy to me, though. Is that, 80 million, okay. But this film would have made $1 billion 2 years ago. As fans around the world continue to embrace Diana Prince, driving the strong opening weekend performance for Wonder Woman 1984, we are excited to be able to continue our story with a real-life Wonder Woman gal, Patty, who will return to conclude the long-planned theatrical trilogy. Why is that even announced when we knew you were going to do a third one? HBO Max did not give any numbers for Wonder Woman 1984, except to say that nearly half of the platform's retail subscribers viewed the film on the day of its arrival, along with millions of wholesale subscribers who have access to HBO Max via cable, wireless, or other partner service. At the end of the third quarter, the streamer had 28.7 million subscribers. I mean, at $10 a month, that's a lot of dip. I think that
the way the world is now,
this is probably going to be the new way. I don't know how theaters or how Hollywood is going to be able to judge how they will promote the success or failure of films, because theaters will reopen this next summer, and as magically everything is okay again, and theaters reopen, it'll be interesting to see how all of this shakes out. I mean, I think it's funny that Hollywood wants us to go pay to see their movies, but not to pay to see grandma or to go to church or.
A Twitter spokesperson has confirmed to Forbes, that after Inauguration Day, Donald Trump can be banned from Twitter. Right now, Twitter has a rule called the World Leaders Policy, which means that the social media company typically will move up any tweets from world leaders, even if they violate Twitter policy at a more granular level. And their explanation is, when it's a head of state, people want to see what heads of state are saying. And so even if the comments violate Twitter policy, we leave them up. And that's the policy that has allowed Donald Trump to spread conspiracy theories about coronavirus and the election and tweet threats and get people bullying others without being punished. And the protection will stop when Trump is no longer president on January 20th. Now, the reality is he's never really been a leader, but he has technically been the president of the United States. The normal process when you don't have world leader protection is that the first time you tweet something that violates policy, your account is blocked until you delete that tweet. The second time you break policy, your account is frozen for some period of time. That happened to Don Jr. I think it was 12 hours over false claims about coronavirus, might have been about hydroxychloroquine. And eventually you would be banned altogether. If Donald Trump does get banned by Twitter, it will trigger him incredibly, and it would be a pleasure to watch. But I would rather Twitter get rid of the rule that you can be exempt from the guidelines. Everybody should have to play by the same rules. And if that were the case, Donald Trump would already have been banned for targeting people, for bullying people, for consistently spreading disinformation about elections and public health matters. Shouldn't you be held to a higher standard as president? Because in practice, what Twitter is saying is, we hold world leaders to a lower standard. And that seems counterintuitive to me. Now, there's an interesting kind of side story here, which is that Donald Trump has been losing Twitter followers since he lost the election. If you look at Social Blade, which tracks data for social accounts of all kinds, it shows that over the last 30 days, Trump has lost about 300,000 followers. That's about 10,000 followers per day. And this is interesting because we've been covering the many ways in which the world has been moving on from Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, throughout his presidency, gained followers, and now he is losing followers. And again, the world is moving on. Now, big picture, I actually like world leaders being on Twitter. I follow Justin Trudeau. I follow Argentinian elected officials, and I follow the French president. I like hearing from elected officials in this direct way. What Trump does really wrong is he tweets things that affect policy, or he tweets new policy without even communicating with anybody that he's planning to do that. The military trans ban is one where Jim Mattis, the Secretary of Defense, was traveling and unaware Trump was doing this, and Trump tweeted it, and it creates chaos. And, of course, the brazen way in which Trump uses the bully pulpit to target bullying at individuals and to spread disinformation. It's disgusting. But Trump aside, I like world leaders being on Twitter. Let me know what you think. We'll have more coverage of this on our Instagram page, which you can find at David Pakman.
There were complications. The messenger was dead by the time I arrived, but I was still able to see the captain and the ship sailed. So, I still did the job.
But I should be...
そう仮定した上で敵のギアスを絞り込んだ。また最初から考えるだけさ。ああ、それと7人を助け出すことは絶対だ。そこを捨てることはありえない。
This was more than I bargained for.
It will be amply compensated. You have done me and the people a huge service. One day you will see your part in this great work.
Yusuke, 自信はあるのか。さあな。だが俺は楽しいよ。楽しいだと。行ってくる。流星のやつ何をのんきなことを。あのディール。
ちは勝てる。来たな、優勢。すごい戦法を考えたな。優勢に認められるなら素直に列しよう。だが手加減はしない。俺の全力でぶつからせてもらう。来い優勢、勝負だ。彼らを見ていると思い出す。かつての自分を。あの頃の俺たちはサテライトに押し込められて苦しみもがいていた。こんなところにいたら自分の可能性は試せないか。見えない恐怖と戦っていた。チーム太陽、彼らの魂はあの頃の俺たちと同じだ。不可能を可能にしようとするチャレンジスピリッツが宿っている。だからこそ彼らは強い。チーム太陽、お前たちは俺を初心に帰らせてくれた。この強敵を相手に俺はチャレンジャーだ。挑ませてもらうぜ。俺の全身全霊をかけて。デュエル、俺のターン。俺はスピードスペエンジェルバトンを発動。スピードカウンターが2つ以上ある。デッキからカードを2枚ドローし、その後手札1枚を墓地に置く。ボルトヘッジオックを墓地へ。そしてこのカード、手札のレベル1のモンスターを墓地に送ることで手札から特殊召喚できる。チューニングサポーターを墓地に送り、ビッグワンウォーリアーを特殊召喚。スピードワールド2の効果発動。自分のスピードカウンターを7つ取り除くことでデッキからカードを1枚ドロー。よし、俺は手振りドラゴンを召喚。このカードが召喚に成功した時、墓地の攻撃力500以下のモンスター1体を攻撃表示で特殊召喚できる。チューニングサポーターを特殊召喚。さらにボルトヘッジオックは自分フィールドに柔軟がい武器。墓地から特殊召喚できる。一気に4体のモンスターを。レベル1のチューニングサポーター、レベル1のビッグワンウォーリアー、レベル2のボルトヘッジオックにレベル4のデブリドラゴンをチューニング。すごい瞬間、嵐の輝く星が光り立つ道となる。
I'm on fire! Put it out!
ターゲットドラゴン。さらにチューニングサポーターをシンクロ召喚によって墓地へ送る。デッキからカードを1枚ドローする。そしてカードを2枚ターンエンド。優勢のエースカードが持ったか。行くぞ優勢、本当の勝負はこれからだ。おい、
Cassandra! I knew you'd be back for more. I can't say it hasn't been on my mind, but alas, we must save it for another time.
Whatever you say.
I hate to cut our conversation short, Socrates, but I believe you've talked enough for the both of us. We must find another use for that mouth of enthusiastic advances. A compliment and an insult in the same sentence. He truly is gift. You've arrived at the perfect time. I have a friend named Sophanes who wants to become an Athenian citizen, but he needs a bit of help. Your help.
I can't wait to hear why it's my help he needs.
Any Mystios would do, really, but you're my favorite. All you need to do is sign my friend's name on a little list.
This sounds simple. Now tell me why it isn't.
There's the small matter that you'll have to enter the Metroon, where you're not allowed, and forge his name well enough, of course.
So he's trying to become a citizen illegally. You should have led with that.
I'll try to remember that the next time. The building you're looking for is near the Agora. Be safe. Talking in circles may work on others, Socrates, but not on me.
大丈夫だ。この浜の顔を上げろ。忍びの任務に危険はつきものだ。それで美月は危険ですね。美月の内臓がもうダメで一から培養するしかない。生田の会社の場所は分かっています。俺に調査させてください。コナンが簡単に介入するわけにはいかない。谷の国に顔の利くやつがいる。3日ばかり時間をくれ。頼んだってばよ。お前はさっさと指示した物を回収して。
Hope no one notices me here. Inside. Time to get back to Alcibiades.
You know, I just listen to your podcast. I don't watch videos or YouTube or any clips or anything. I'm installed on busy all day. Right. I have time to listen while I play. And we're missing out on the visual aspect. Oh my god. I just watched a clip on Facebook. And you're listening to a caller. You take a sip of your water with your hand underneath the cup like something. And I started cracking up and I thought, I don't know other visual joke am I missing from you? Have I been just only getting 2 dimensions of three-dimensional jokes?
Yes.
Oh man, I've been missing out. Shalom, brother, and you know, have a really good time off. Good holiday season.
Yeah, there are many visual little elements that you were missing if you were only listening to the show, but it's for that reason. On the bonus show today, the U.S. government has figured out how to get 100 million more vaccine doses from Pfizer. We will discuss it.
My favorite Mystios
So Vanis's name is on the list.
I see.
Decline, and they may lose 2 House seats as a result. And the Texas Lieutenant Governor, who offered $1 million if he could find evidence of voter fraud, is now refusing to pay it after we found evidence of pro-Trump voter fraud happening. We covered that story yesterday. We will discuss the fallout on today's bonus show. Get instant access by becoming a member at joinpacman.com.
What should I do? I promise you, this will go.
People of Japan, welcome to the specially administrated zone. I'm overjoyed that
What?
The holidays are usually a time of celebration with family, but due to circumstances outside of our control, many of you, like myself, are likely spending the holidays alone or away from family to keep them safe. And so with all that, I thought to myself, is there another way to capture the spirit of family? And then a bright idea came to my head. You know what else is about family? Fast and Furious, baby! Many of you asked me to finish this game, which I started playing some time back. Part 1 of this video is up for those who are curious, but I figured, let's see what the rest of this game has to say. Now, the good news is that after I refunded this game,
Should be extra careful in this
for
area.
the purpose of this video, the game was vastly discounted, $20 instead of the usual $60 during the holiday sale, so I did save some money. Now, last we left off, the game had crashed right as a cutscene was playing, and the game doesn't seem to have a generous checkpoint system, so booting this game up, it did restore my save file from last time. Booting this game back up, I've just taken this mission after that cutscene, and I could replay the previous mission and watch that cutscene in its entirety, but that will just be an extra layer of suffering that I just don't need. So let's just resume from wherever the game left me off at. So yeah, let's see how this goes. If my suffering leads to your entertainment, then you know what? Worth it. Though if you really want to make it up to me, you can go ahead and maybe buy some Yong Yeah merch, which you can find on the store right now, yongyeah.com. You got shirts of all varieties. You got this Nuka Dark Rum Parody Yong Yeah glassware. You've got Yong Yeah Surprise Mechanics, stress boxes shaped as loot boxes. And I'm certainly going to need to relieve a lot of stress in this playthrough. We got hats like the one back there and more. Every purchase really goes a long way to the channel. We've always been kind of sponsor free, and I love that we've been able to continue that all these years. Right now, I'm also running a holiday sale, 10% discount if you type in the code YONGOUT.
Are you Anthusa?
During checkout.
Me?
So I hope that's something that
Anthusa?
those out there who've been curious about the Yong Yeah merch.
I could be anyone for you, Lamb. So her name means something to you? Anthusa? She's been around forever, but I never met her. I know the... If the Etera aren't their sort to hide and mag, you want them, you'll find
these choice physics. Now, one thing that really bothers me about this game is that instead of allowing you to turn the camera in any direction, the camera will instead snap to that direction instead of rotating. So right now I'm holding left on the analog stick, it'll just lock into place in that direction instead of just rotating the camera as it normally would in any other video game. And so when I'm like trying to look around, it just looks so jittery and janky, and it is not great. How do I get there? Investigate the second map. Oh my god, are you serious? 5,700 and whatever units away?
For gamers, 2020 wasn't just the end of a console generation. Lots of other stuff just flat out stopped this year. Hi folks, it's Tom from Today on Game Ranks. Join us in morning. It's 10 video game things that died in 2020. Starting off at number 10 is the RTX 2080 Ti, which was released in the fall of 2018. It was basically the beefy ray tracing big card on the block from NVIDIA for quite a while. It also launched at a price of $1,300 and been overpriced basically its entire lifespan. And you know what? You can really tell it is an overpriced card by the fact that its successor, the RTX 3080, came out and does everything so much better. Like, I mean, plays Doom like 50 frames per second higher than the 2080, has the potential to do literally twice the work at roughly half the cost. The RTX 3080 came in at a price like significantly
That's what I'm looking for.
Like, that's within the reach of a lot more PC gamers than the
Who do they think they are? I need to stop them.
Seriously, if the best thing, like a huge generational leap beyond the previous best thing, was half the price of every generation, maybe I would complain a lot less about basically everything. At number 2, it's a slot. The creators of the runaway hit of
Behind you, Mistios!
Here comes they are incorporating all of the planned content that they had done from F2 into the reason they tried to use the code base for the original game. It's desperately outdated and they want to right, then it just can't handle.
Who were they? And why were they looking for the Etera?
Based on the original and just keep going from there, which is, in my opinion, probably the smarter thing to do. Not just marketing-wise, but just for the sake of everyone's ease of use. But just to be clear, marketing a sequel to a game that had just become a world hit 2 years
They
after
think this temple is dedicated to them, the brutes.
Things are here and the Etera aren't.
The Etera? They're much wiser than we are.
There's no avoiding the monger's menu.
If you want to move that entire player base over to another game, I would.
I'll keep my guard up.
At number 8, craves money these days.
Not only that, but power.
So the monger is a
master of the underground.
A drachmi and blood.
Pretty good on account of all
You know the Etera.
They say
I've seen them gather by the spring of Bire.
Good.
I We've seen that story a lot lately, but it doesn't seem to be panning out, at least not in the way we'd like it to. Marvel's Avengers is probably one of the more egregious examples of such. The game itself isn't terrible, but it's also basically that kind of Anthem games as a service game where, though the gameplay might be alright, or even good in the case of this one, the game itself is just fundamentally kind of dull. It's trying to just keep you around and drag things out so you're playing longer, and it's just... Anyway, the game has lost 96% of its players. That is 4% of the people that bought it are still playing it. And it struggles reaching 1,000 players an hour, which if you remember in the last point about Among Us, they're like hitting like 120,000 players an hour at times. They're just this tiny little itty-bitty indie game. Marvel's Avengers is, well, Marvel's Avengers. And number 7, Crucible. Now, Crucible was Amazon Game Studios' first big game. Like, they mainly stuck to like phone or tablet games or whatever. And they got too big for their britches, I guess. Back in May, they launched this free-to-play, team-based shooter. Team-based meaning hero-based, kind of Overwatchy, kind of Team Fortressy,
You know me?
but not as good as
And
either
you
of
know
those
her.
titles, unlike
This is
Valorant, which
Anthusa.
managed to
We saw
differentiate
you
itself.
help the
And on
worshippers
top
at
of
the
that, this
temple of
game
Aphrodite.
didn't just launch with
You've
like
proven
zero
yourself a
buzz.
friend.
It launched with
Hear
zero
that, Icarus?
zero
Her
like,
sight's as good as
time
yours.
content, anything that might
Someone
be
also spoke
exclusive or
very
make you feel
highly
like
of
need to
you.
play the game now.
Surprise!
They launched in pre-season.
Phoebe!
And when I say launch, I
Aspasia
mean like
sent me.
launch,
I work for her now, remember?
launch,
But why are
soft
here?
launch. Like, they
Corinth
launched,
isn't safe.
and the developers
I had to tell Anthusa you were coming. Aspasia
What?
taught me a new word. Emissary. That's me. And now Cassandra and I have met.
Playing?
See? This is easy.
Wait, B.
What?
There's donuts downstairs.
Like I could eat donuts.
Like a fourth, Brian, a fourth.
Uh-huh.
Right? I'm just letting you know.
Uh-huh.
I guess that would be alright.
No, he's good.
Who knows what I'll get into. Yes! Just make sure you're extra. We need to move inside, Cassandra. We're not the only ones watching. Can I come? As long as you're quiet.
Definitely wasn't worth the time. Like, maybe some time and love, it could have been something, but it definitely wasn't. At number 6, Sega sold off about 96% of their arcades.
Yeah, go to bed.
About 190 plus arcades, like actual physical locations that they owned, they sold to another company.
To what do I owe you?
Some of them,
Algerians told me about you. I'm looking for a woman from Sparta. Who's that? She's your mother? You don't have a mother. Marcos told me he raised you. What did I tell you about Tokyo? I see.
One of the coolest looking arcades from the outside, and a place that you probably visited.
As long as you tell me what you know, sooner or later. You can always trust Cassandra. Why don't you go play, Phoebe? Let me and Anthusa talk. If you say so, I propose a trade. Help me. You have a deal. A wise decision. I haven't made it this far, being... Then we're in business. Now.
Ubiquitous in the way that is. Like, you've probably seen
From what the worshippers say, they're right.
It's not that.
Then you've held your ground. Not yet, anyway. But he's employed enough. He's been killing it there. Killing? I'm not the only one who needs more longer trouble. I wouldn't doubt it. Work against the regret. I'll see what the monger feeds so if... Exactly. Go. Then the warehouse will be...
And clearly that just didn't pick up. Despite the fact that they had signed both Shroud and Ninja to exclusivity agreements, which that's just done now. Those agreements are currently going to be honored by Facebook Gaming, who Microsoft is partnering with on xCloud, apparently, so that you can use xCloud on Facebook Gaming. However, I just have this feeling like it's not going to matter. But apparently both Ninja, Shroud, and really any other partners are going to be allowed.
So you're here to help us, Mistios? You don't look like a monk. I'm more I might. Lauren seems to have... I need someone with muscle.
Facebook Gaming, I understand that it's probably...
I'll see what he has to say. If he's not lurking, it will.
Really going to maintain the younger audience on Facebook Gaming? No, I think they'll probably do that kind of thing before long. That's my opinion. I don't know whether that's how it'll pan out, but if it does, you know that old Falcon was right about yet another thing. Yes, that does sound conceited, and I don't care. At number 4, the $60 price point for premium games is, well, it's not gone. I'm sure there are going to be premium games that cost $60 in the future. However, they've sort of broken the ceiling for that. We have, at this current time, started seeing games that are going for $70, which is too much, frankly. I understand the argument for raising the prices because of inflation. However, video games have always been, like, way lower priced. $40 to $50 is kind of really what they should be priced, and should have been priced much lower a decade, 2 decades, even 3 decades ago. In 1990, the US dollar was worth precisely 2 times as much as it is right now. Profits for gaming companies, and by profits, I mean margins. I mean, amount they're investing in games and amount they're recouping is at an all-time high in 2020. They are doing better than they ever have. So why do games still cost this much? In fact, are going up in price. I've complained about this one for a much longer period of time than this, but I think we kind of have to just say goodbye to the $60 premium game.
Okay, Jesus, Mia.
And number 3, Microsoft is closing all of a few of them in.
Oh, yeah. Go. Hey, let me see your face. Let me see your face. Yeah. So. Doggies. start lagi.
Much larger cities like New York, London, Sydney, etc., that are going to be rebranded as Microsoft.
Good, you found me.
Shh. What are you doing here?
I heard the Mali's talking about her crazy client earlier, and I wanted to help.
You may be right. I could use you.
See? That was my...
I'm going to talk to Damalis's client and see what he...
I've been here, spying, and I heard him mumbling to himself. He's weird.
Let's hear it.
Let me think. He said something about having to meet someone at Faye's pig farm tonight. That could help.
It could. Did he mention why?
To get something from them. A deed to some land, I think he said.
Well, that's something. What?
Oh, he said their name. The Nomenis. Wonder who that is.
Good to know. Thank you.
Not bad, huh?
Time to act. Listen closely. You sneak inside and see what you can find in his house.
Quiet like a mouse.
Good.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Do I know you?
No, but I know you.
If Miron sent you, tell him I was going to pay him back this very night.
No one sent me. We need to talk. I know you're up to something.
Something? Something could be...
You're going to Faye's pig farm. And meeting some like-minded person there, I hear.
Where did you hear that? You're wrong. Dead wrong.
They owe you a deed to some land. What that land will be used for, I don't know.
A spy? What else do you have on me? Cough it up.
The Nomenis will be quite upset if I don't let you meet him tonight.
How? What do you want?
I know about Damalis. And as her client, you seem to think she owes you something.
I do love her, you know? With my whole heart.
And yet, you're scaring her.
Better me than another more careless man. Either I hurt Damalis or I'm killed.
That's not love. It's weakness.
You say it as though I don't know. He knew that.
Who's making you?
Tell Damalis I'll stop.
Fine. Here, old man.
Yeah, stop. Yeah.
Let's see what we found.
I wonder what this means.
What's this? A coin purse?
His things aren't very nice, though. If he's rich, why have all that junk?
He must have just gotten paid. I've seen that iron poker used before.
He didn't have a furnace. Why does he have this?
It's not used for fire. It's a weapon. For torture. I saw someone use it in Fokis. Someone huge.
Huge like the Monger?
Just like the Monger. What does the letter say?
It's mean. It says he'll get hurt if he keeps doing things wrong.
I thought as much.
And it says more. that he needs to bring the Malis to a place here in Corinth. There's directions. What do you think it is?
Don't know, but I'll find out.
Right behind you.
Not this time. Go to the Malis and wait for me there.
Oh, please.
You've done enough for today. It could be dangerous. I'll come find you after.
Fine. Oh, I almost forgot. I got the sword from you from his house.
Wow. You're a good thief. Place to bring the Malis. A prison? I should find out. Try to stay out of sight. This must be the place described in the letters. Anybody home?
Why is it bothering me?
Chains? Oil? This can't be what I think it is.
This should be.
Malaka, what is this? A lock of hair. It smells familiar somehow.
Gotcha! All right, you little shit. Who sent you?
What are you doing here?
I wanted to help.
Give her here.
Leave, Phoebe, now! Don't take another step.
You're brave coming here. You want a whipping? The monger would love to take you on.
He'd rot in the underworld for that.
Prude, this is Corinthia. Anything goes in this Sexandron, and the monger will be satiated.
You're as sick as he is, worm.
Whether they like it or not, any victim he likes gets his special treatment. I'll tell him you volunteer.
You'll get my special treatment right now. I'll fucking kill you.
By Aphrodite, Cleo better get back here soon.
Why call on the gods when you have?
How did you know I needed help? And Cleo, one of our girls, didn't meet me for prayer this morning. She wasn't at home either.
She might have been taken.
I asked around. One of our clients said he saw Cleo brought aboard the ship. The men were armed, so there was nothing he could do. I'd pay a lot of drachmi to get her back.
Armed?
Follow me.
Who do you think took her?
It wouldn't be the first time the Monger's men came after one of us. None of us have ever disappeared like this before. Some are worried they'll be taken next. Corinth may have a bad reputation, but it wasn't always that way. We used to be safe.
Until the Monger.
We're not sure why he came here, but Corinth is worse off because of him. There. That's the boat our client described. Please, get her back.
Rowers, to positions!
Commander on board!
Stay back. I'm here to rescue you. Rescue me? You sunk my boat, pirate. Me? An outlaw? Oh, you wound me. What are you talking about? Mistios, please. We were heading to Mykonos, which is safe. If you'll take me there, I can pay you the toll I would have paid my crew. All right, I'll get you there. Next time my crew docks at Mykonos, you can depart. In the meantime, welcome aboard. Thank you, Mistios. This is what's best, I promise. You've more than made up for killing my abductors, Mistios. Thank you. Do me a favor, and tell your friends the truth next time. I'll consider it. Put my coins to good use. Good luck.
What happened? Where is Cleo?
Your friend didn't need rescuing. She hired that ship to get out of Corinth and go somewhere safe.
So, she's really gone?
She's not coming back. No.
Thank you. I'll let Anthusa know. Guess I'll be alone at prayer tomorrow. You promise she's safe?
You have my word. They'll be watching for me.
This is the place. Time to burn some cargo.
You! Please! Help! You have given me a sense, friend. Thank you.
Ah, no! Put it out! Out! Away, child of Hephaestus! You're untied. Go! What the light? Shit! Go!
Come and get it.
You fight like a Spartan. There's resolve in you.
We have that in common.
I saw innocents trapped in the flames.
The ones in the warehouse. I freed them already.
A good soldier acts when he's told. A great one is 2 steps ahead. Thank you.
My name's Cassandra. I'd thank you too, if I knew who you were.
Razidas of Sparta. You're a newcomer to Corinth.
You're a spy too?
An old Spartan tactic. I have my ways.
I get the sense that's a Corinthian hobby. Anthusa has her Etera watching from every post.
Ah, Anthusa. We disagree, but have a common enemy.
The Monger?
We agree he should be killed, but we differ on how.
What do you want to do with him?
Right now, the Monger rules Corinth. I want to replace him with minimal bloodshed.
Killing him and his men doesn't seem to fit your peaceful proposal.
Nothing else has been successful. Trust me.
What happened?
We arrested his top men, armed the citizens, tried to stir the police against him. It never came to be. The only thing left to try is a quick slice of the blade.
That would do it.
We'd lure him into Corinthia's sacred cave, and it'd be over.
By the time I leave Corinthia, the Monger...
Do that, and Sparta...
I was Spartan, once.
Once?
Until I was thrown off Mount Aietos as a child, and left for dead.
You're the daughter of General Nikolaos? All of Sparta knows your name. And here you are, alive. Impossible.
I survived. I raised myself alone, while life continued in Sparta.
Never mind being a Spartan. Those of good character will forgive and should be forgiven.
I'm on the hunt for my mother, Myrini. And the only way is through Anthusa.
Yes, Myrini.
You knew Nikolaos?
A good general, but a stubborn Spartan.
And rewarded for his loyalty.
But he disappeared, and his body was never found. The state pronounced him dead.
That's all right. I haven't seen him since I was a child. You don't know anything about Myrini, do you?
I know that no one should have to endure such tragedy alone. And I heard she left Sparta that night. No one has forgotten Myrini.
From what I know, she wanted them to forget. There's no going back now.
The displaced can always find their way home.
They couldn't make it any easier.
Chin up, Spartan.
Goodbye, Brasidas.
We'll meet again.